He's not staying with us forever, is he?
Body of Christ.
These top 10 modern vampire movies are a staple in popular culture.
Maybe you should join us for a ride.
And they might even make you laugh.
Christ! That thing is rock solid.
So be warned, as Movie Spotlight curates these top modern vampire movies, be sure to check out our top pick, as you'll never guess it. And we see in our number 10. What do you get when you go to a cottage in the middle of the woods with a bunch of girls? That's right, you get Lesbian Vampire Killers. And you get to see James Corden as Fletch outside of carpool karaoke and a car, smashing the heads of these vampire killers with his best bud Jimmy, played by Matthew Horn. So what we witness is sexy ladies in lingerie having their heads lopped off. But essentially, what happened? We are taken back in time to see that centuries ago, Baron Wolfgang vanquished a vampire queen, Carmilla, by decapitating this evil vampire and decapitating her. In turn, every woman would turn into a lesbian vampire. But the vampires have a mission. They are looking for fresh blood to resurrect their queen vampire, Carmilla. So, will they succeed? As hinted in the name Cirque du Freak, the vampire's assistant is our number 9 pick. Darren and his best buddy Chris sneak into a freak show and watch a vampire Latin perform with a lethal spider.
Darren, his name's not Lawrence Krebsley. It's for a horse and he's a vampire. I saw his painting in one of my vampire books. I mean, it's him. He's got the same scars, the same hair, the same everything.
Intrigued, they sneak into the back to get a glimpse of this spider, and guess what? The spider bites Chris. In desperation, Darren does the worst deal of his life, accepting a deal to become a creature of the night as an undead vampire assistant to get his hands on the antidote to save Chris.
That's it, right? He's gonna be better now?
That's it.
And we see Darren learning to use his new powers. It's based on a series, The Vampire Blood Trilogy by Darren Shan. At number 8, these vamps actually sleep in coffins.
And oh, look how cute she is. You got me.
And they run into Van Helsing, of course, as blood-sucking party girls starring Alicia Silverstone and Kirsten Ritter. These vegetarian vampires live off rodents as they are just too sweet to live off human blood, and fall in love with the son of vampire hunter Van Helsing, which would give any vampire the chills, as the family of known vampire hunters. Living eternal lives, they are cold, like usual vampires, and keep out of the sun, so they party in the evenings, taking on New York City. But Van Helsing's father notices her pale skin and cold hands. Well, they stay together. In another teacher vampire movie of high school students, number 7 is all about freaks of nature who have been teaching for 97 years at school. Get that, almost a century, he has seen it all. As the big 3 in this reality, humans, vampires, and zombies live in peace. With the vampire population standing at almost 12,000, the zombie population at 7. At 41,000, what happens between the battle of the species when the aliens arrive? That's right, it's an all-out Mortal Kombat in this high school drama. Who will win? Number 6 sees these 2 hotties, Megan Fox and Amanda Burns, starring in Jennifer's Body. It's about a high school cheerleader, Jennifer Chick, who was abducted for some weird black magic ritual requiring virgins. gone wrong. She, in fact, was not one, if you didn't guess, and turns into a succubus, as any males who are into her are murdered as Jennifer gains an insatiable appetite for human blood. We follow her as she goes and hunts down men who she thinks are hot, and so the makers of this film had in mind female empowerment. So instead of females being terrorized like you see in other classics, you end up with Jennifer's body, or really Megan Fox's body.
Well, this is pretty much the grossest thing I've ever seen.
Halfway through, what better than blood-sucking bastards, as we see what happens when you're at work and you find out your new boss is a vampire. Does Evan, played by Fran Kranz, run for the hills as your boss starts turning your co-workers into the undead and bodies start piling up? Everyone is starting to look paler and the office is getting darker and colder as the entire office is turned into vampires. If you love splatstick vamp comedies, this may be for you. In this fourth top pick, Cain, who was actually in the Bible, as he's a vampire who lived that long, he never died.
Maybe you should join us for a ride.
I'm okay.
Yeah, you know what? That's not really an option.
Of course he's immortal and feeds off blood as a cannibal to survive. In a deep rut, his ambition awakens when he discovers his long-lost daughter was kidnapped to a crime syndicate, and he uses his superhuman qualities to save her. So the vampire here is the hero, or could this be? Our third pick is the acquired taste of drinking blood. That is, of course, unless you are a vampire, as we see in Dark Shadows. In this Tim Burton film, Johnny Depp is Barnabas Collins, becoming a vampire in the 18th century after coming across a witch who dooms him to a fate worse than death by turning him into a vampire and burying him alive. It takes 2 whole centuries to escape the tomb, but what has happened to this dysfunctional family of descendants now? As every family has its demons, and this is no different as he deals with modernism. In our penultimate pick, we got vampires in the Bronx. We see a group of teenagers who band together to protect the Bronx from an invasion of vampires looking to gentrify the area.
Listen, Frank. You're lying, man.
They team up and defend themselves with garlic and wooden stakes and holy water. And we do see these vampires levitate. Before we reveal the Movie Spotlight's #1 top 10 modern vampire movies, we would love if you would subscribe to the Movie Spotlight's channel.
Christ! That thing is rock solid.
Just take a moment and do it right now and hit that button. In this awesome #1 choice, starring Colin Farrell and David Tennant in Fright Night, a remake of the 1985 cult classic Charlie is Dating Hottie Amy, who is the most sought-after girl on campus. Charlie and his geeky friend Ed suspect his neighbor Jerry is a vampire responsible for the students going missing from their classroom. But the problem is, no one believes him. After all, we see Jerry's house windows are all blacked out and an unsightly dumpster out front of his house as Charlie watches Jerry from his bedroom window, and then Ed disappears and Charlie goes to investigate and seeks out illusionist Peter, a proclaimed vampire killer magician, to help find Ed, and they are shocked when they find out what happened to him. If you enjoyed this video, you'd probably like to check out the best vampire and werewolf movies by clicking on the screen right now.